All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are tackling a massive question. Can AI really be your personal software developer? I mean, for real. We're going to dive into a brand new tool that says it can do exactly that. So let's take a look at what the future of creating stuff might actually look like. You've been there, right? We all have. You get that amazing idea for an app, that perfect concept for a website, but it's just stuck in your head because you don't know how to code. And that technical wall, man, it can be so incredibly frustrating. And even if you have the money to hire someone, the whole process can feel just painfully slow. I mean, just imagine waiting for weeks, maybe 2 weeks, just to get a simple landing page online. That kind of delay is a total momentum killer for so many great ideas. Okay, now what if you could do that exact same task in about 5 minutes? Seriously, that's the promise of the kind of tech we're looking at today. And that gap, the one between weeks and minutes, that's exactly where this whole thing gets really, really interesting.
Now, just to be super clear, we're not talking about a chatbot that just hands you some lines of code. No, this is something else entirely. It's called an AI coding agent. It's a system that's built to understand your high-level goal, come up with its own plan, write all the code, and then actually run it. Think of it as an autonomous partner, not just a passive tool you have to babysit.
And that brings us to the tool that's making all this happen, Cooter. It's a new AI coding agent that we're going to put through its paces. And, maybe the best part, while it's in preview, it is completely free to use. So right off the bat, what's really striking is how accessible they've made this. You don't need to mess around with any complicated API keys, which, let's be honest, is a huge hurdle for a lot of people. It's running on some seriously powerful models like Gemini and Claude, but it wraps everything up in an interface that's simple enough for a total beginner, but still feels comfortable for experienced coders. Okay, so all that sounds great on paper, but can it actually deliver? Let's put it to the test and see if we can really go from just a simple idea to a finished product. We're going to build a landing page right now, completely from scratch. And this is where it all begins. A user who straight up says they are not a coder just starts with a simple prompt in plain English. They just type, plan out a landing page. Needs to be super sleek and modern. That's it. No complicated instructions, just an idea. And here's what happens next, which is so cool. Cooter doesn't just dump a wall of code on you. It actually thinks like a developer. First, it makes a plan. Then it writes the actual files. It even tells you the exact command you need to run it, and finally, it launches a live preview for you. It handles the entire workflow. And boom, here's the payoff. A clean, modern, fully functional landing page. Remember that 2-week wait time we were just talking about? Yeah, this was done in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee. It's a real, tangible website from a simple text prompt. But look, getting a first draft is one thing. What about making changes? The real magic usually happens when you start tweaking and iterating, and this is where Cooter's conversational abilities come into play. You don't just give it one command and walk away. You can actually talk to it to make your creation better. So the user just keeps the conversation going. They ask for better sales copy. They tell it to add links to the buttons. But then they try something really fascinating. They upload a couple of screenshots. And this is where it gets kind of wild. The AI doesn't just see a picture. It understands the content of the images. It correctly identified a course library and community discussions without anyone telling it what they were. But, and this is a big but, it's not perfect. We have to be realistic here. Even though the AI completely understood the images, it actually failed to get them to show up on the final webpage. This just shows us that while these tools are incredibly powerful, they are definitely still in their early days. So everything we've seen up to this point has just been in a simple chat mode. But now we're going to unleash its most powerful feature, Quest mode. This is where the AI really goes from being your co-pilot to being the autonomous pilot of the entire project. So what's the actual difference? Well, think of it this way. The AI chat is like having a co-pilot. You give it direct, step-by-step commands. But Quest mode, that's like having an autonomous project manager. You just give it a complex goal, the final destination, and it figures out the entire trip, the whole plan, to get there all by itself. So the user gives it a much more complex quest. Build a functional return on investment calculator and then integrate it into that landing page we just made. This isn't just about text and images anymore. This requires actual logic and interactivity. And just watch how the agent tackles this. First, it designs the entire app. Then it creates its own 8-step to-do list, from making the HTML to styling it, building the form, and even testing the whole thing. It just works through each step on its own, and when it's all done, it gives you a full report of everything it did. And the result? It worked. From one single, high-level sentence, the agent planned, built, tested, and integrated a whole new interactive app right into the existing project. I mean, that is a massive leap in capability. Okay, building a calculator is a really cool demo, for sure. But what does all of this really mean? Why does this actually matter? Let's zoom out for a second and take a look at the bigger picture here. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in how things get made. The time it takes to build something is just collapsing, from weeks down to minutes. And this doesn't just make things faster, it makes it practically free to test out a new idea, which empowers pretty much anyone to become a creator. Our tools are evolving from being simple assistants into truly autonomous partners that can manage entire projects for us. Which leaves us with one final, and I think very exciting question. When that technical barrier of writing code is basically removed from the equation, the only limit that's left is your own imagination. So, what will you create?